Hi everybody, and welcome back to my Intro to Quantitative Research for Qualitative Researchers course. Today we're going to tackle a bit of a different topic here. We're going to get a little bit outside the programming, a little bit outside the math, and we're going to go to the foundations of what research really is. Let's take this concept one step further and talk about the statistical concept of validity. Validity in statistical measurement refers to the extent to which a test or instrument measures what it claims to measure. It's important to be aware of this because validity is a major factor in determining the accuracy and credibility of the conclusions drawn from the data. There's multiple dimensions to validity, so let's talk about a couple of them right now. The first is construct validity. This type assesses whether something measures the concept it's intended to measure. Basically, are you doing what you're saying you're doing? A silly example might be if we're trying to measure someone's height, you wouldn't use a thermometer because that's not a measurement of height. A less silly example might be measuring how prestigious a job is by looking at the salary. While salary is probably correlated with prestige, it's not the same conceptually, so measuring it that way wouldn't give you valid results. The second type is face validity. This is a more superficial measure, assessing whether the test appears to measure what it's supposed to measure based on a subjective judgment. This is maybe the best way to start with any test of validity. I recommend thinking of ways to measure, writing them down in words, and then matching it back to the original research question you're asking. Let's do one more thing in this lesson and talk about reliability. Reliability in statistical measurement refers to the consistency and dependability of a test or instrument. It indicates how consistently a method measures something under the same conditions. If I put 3 properly calibrated thermometers outside in the same place at the same time, they should show me the same temperature. This can be especially difficult when you're talking to people who are notorious for not having concrete opinions or beliefs and can change from one minute to the next with no real reason behind it. Let's go back to that question of which country is the best at football for a minute. Let's say we asked people this question. We're going to use those survey results for our measurement. Do you think people would give the same answer consistently? Some might. Others would have a top 3 that could be roughly interchangeable and might give a different answer depending on some random factor at the moment. Taking it away from football for a minute, if I asked you, what's your favorite song? Do you necessarily have a concrete answer to that question? Or more likely, do you have a lot of songs you really enjoyed and might name any of those at a given moment depending on your mood? Thinking about reliability, especially on subjective measurements that involve asking people for their opinions, is important. To be clear, it doesn't mean you shouldn't ask people for their opinions. In fact, we should ask them their opinions more often than we do already on a lot of things, especially related to product decisions. But when you're doing so, make sure you create reliable measures you'd expect to see similar answers if you ask the same person the same question again.